Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the J22 Report. I am your host, Johnnie Market. You all know that drill. Smash that like button, subscribe if you already haven't. And I just wanted to do a video today. I just wanted to update about Canada and the United States. And the reason I'm highlighting this is a very important trend that even though early we might start seeing this. Peter Schiff talked about this, saying that the rest of the world doesn't need United States. It's actually quite the opposite. And I think a big mistake a lot of people, especially Gen X and Boomer age, they think that all these countries need our market when in reality it's actually the opposite. And I didn't have this on my bingo card, but I think Canada is actually showing the way. And Canada has basically won this trade war because now they have to delay tariffs and everything. But let's just show you some of the things that happens. And this is why also libertarianism doesn't work. It's because people are inherently nationalistic to a degree. A lot of Americans have been deprogrammed of it, probably myself included. And Canadians have definitely, but because of mass migration and now these tariffs, it's starting to, get into Canadians. And so how are Canadians, not the government? First of all, Jack Daniels hits out of Canada pulling US alcohol. So this is going to hurt exports. And this is Canadian. Look at this. They say this is worse than tariffs. That's the boss of Jack Daniels maker Brown-Forman. Several Canadian provinces, including Ontario, by far the most populated, took action in retaliation. So the largest liquor buyers of alcohol removed US made alcoholic drinks from their shelves on Tuesday. So a lot of those liquor, all that bourbon and rum, well, I don't know if America makes rum, but all that bourbon, they're no longer buying. And that's going to continue for at least the next 4 years. So our exports are already going to decline to Canada because they're not. And I've done videos over like pizza makers are now finding their tomatoes from Italy. They're not buying them from the US anymore. So that's more crops, other imports. So the trade, and the thing is, the US needs its oil because Canada, the only thing they really export to us is its oil. So they're going to produce the oil. So the trade deficit's going to even be wider. So that's the first thing. Second thing, here's more. Jack Daniels maker, I already said it, pulling out of the U.S. And they say this is worse than a tariff. So let's see if there's anything more. Yeah, wine, spirits, and beer. So, and I mean the U.S. made beer. Like if you've been overseas, it's not good. Like it's not good. So like they can easily take the US made beer and liquor and everything. So this is and look at this. Cost cutting measures including workforce reduction. So this is even going to lead to more layoffs. I told you it's not just public sector, it's private. So another thing, I was looking at this, but Canadian brewers are making a hard pivot to have Canadian ingredients. So, so 80% of its beers are locally sourced. So, aluminum, the top raw export from Canada, was previously imported from the US, but not anymore. So, biggest importer, aluminum. So yeah, the brewers are now using different ingredients. So, and they're increasing uses of local ingredients. So, there it is, right there. It's not just Jack Daniels, but beer makers. And I'm sure they drink a lot. And then look at this. They're even suspending imports from pork. So, and that's why you hear the stories of the farmers. The U.S. farmers really hurting. So, U.S. farmers are really hurting from trade war. Let's see if that farmers strongly. So maybe they're not. Bear with me. So yeah, they're gonna need new farm aid. So here's this: farmers fear more pain, farmers face higher cost. So we'll see. Farmers back them, but they're feeling pain. That's my thing. And then here it is. Speaking of aid, Canada commits 6 billion to fight and find new markets. So I think since it's mostly natural resources, it's going to be so yeah, they're going to be able to find, and I think they will. I'll use an example because I've been following the Canadian oil market. So, and then look at this. It's not just those things, but border shops sees 80% sales drop amid tariffs and buy Canadian movement. Homer says they could go under any day, and there's no quick term. So look at this. Duty-free British Columbia border shop, 80% drop in sales. So all these border towns, they're not going there anymore. So there's a lot of border towns if you're not near there. I just know this because I read a lot, I talk a lot. But Canadians shop a lot in America. They do a lot of tourism, and they are yeah, they're not vacationing here anymore. That is, if you looked at it, it's $20 billion they spend annually vacationing in the US. They're not doing it anymore. So 20 billion, that's and then here it is for the foreseeable future. Canada's rediscovering its nationalism. Uh, Due to this. And this is why the free flow of trade and goods could never happen. Nationalism does not. I'm not saying you can't have trade, but you can't have free trade. Free trade is sort of like socialism. It just doesn't work. Unfortunately. Uh, Called it so. I mean, but here's the thing. When it comes to oil, Canada has a history of shooting itself in the foot. And I'll just give you an example. Energy East, this is a project, oil over to New Brunswick, canceled by regulatory hurdles. I don't know exactly, but this was so they could export stuff, to Europe and other markets, but now they're unable to. This is the other one, the Northern Gateway, Enbridge, because I remember I wanted to buy Enbridge stock, carry out Alberta to British Columbia, northwest coast. This would allow it to export to Asia, and Justin Trudeau canceled it. So obviously, they shot themselves in the foot. And then this was the United States canceled it, which I think was sort of dumb. The other ones, I don't know. Like the US government canceled TC. So, but anyway, if you actually look at it, Um, Canada is winning the trade war, and Canada's winning the trade war. They're finding new ingredients, they're finding new products, and Canada has plenty of farmland. They can grow their own. And this is what they've tapped into a new form of nationalism. And the Canadians have not really been that nationalist. If anything, they were actually multicultural and diverse. In fact, some spoke French. I forget the exact province. I want to say Quebec. Let me see. Canadian French speaking. Come on, Google. I know you're listening. Yeah, so Quebec was a primary French novice, and there was a Quebec movement, Alberta, which was an oil town that was like the Texas of Canada, I mean, politically conservative. This is just what I read. I'm not from Canada, so if you're Canadian and you listen, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really. But yeah, and so, but because of I believe mass migration plus now this trade war where they're talking about Canada ripping us off, which us meaning America, which isn't really true. Uh, they just supply us with oil. Their main export to the United States is oil. And it's because we're unable to produce it. Even if we, I talked about drill baby drill, how it doesn't work. You gotta go see my past videos. I'm not gonna relitigate or redo it, but Sean Heyman, he talked about how this wasn't advertised with Biden produced amounts of oil. We just don't have the capacity. And over the next 5 to 10 years, the Permian basins are just going to rapidly decline, just down. Or if it's like that, down. So they're going to need to import more oil and natural resources. So this is really going to harm. Picking a fight with Canada will really harm the U.S. a lot more because they're going to find new markets. And they'll be like, oh, well, you know, they're going to say, you should say thank you to us instead of saying we're ripping you off. Maybe that's why. Anyway, that's all. In terms of the markets, uh, this will hurt. This is why I said in the cycle, and maybe this is what's in the cycle, is we're going to have a 10 to 20 year bear market in the United States, maybe seven at or the least, but I think it's gonna be way more. I think it's gonna be 2 decades, and maybe like the early 40s to maybe 50s will be the new bull market in stocks. Uh, and yeah, you'll see it. They're gonna realize they don't need America, and they're going to make more of their own stuff, find new markets, and Asia's gonna be more than willing to gobble up their oil, their natural gas, their uh, whatever resource they have. They're going to be more than happy to gobble that up. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have. And yeah, they're going to think QE or some financialization is going to solve it. It's not. This is, even if you look at Trump, he's talking about AI and crypto. He's a financialized guy. He pays lip service to manufacturing, but he's a financialization guy. And yeah, so this year, expect more QE, more expect a recession first. We're in the middle of the drop. It could bounce. Like I was looking at something. Market went down, and a lot of technical people are saying this might be the bottom. If it is, it is. And then there might be one more run up. Some people say 6,065. A lot of technicians say 7,000. I don't think it's much more. I think any bounce is really a in my opinion, not financial advice, an opportunity to sell. I don't think it's a opportunity to buy. And so then we're going to go on a 7 to 8, 20 year bear market. And I think the rest of the world, they're going to realize they don't need America. And that's what we're in. So anyway, hit that like button, subscribe. I will do more this week. I will definitely do more this week. I just wanted to get that out of the way. I'm probably not going to talk too much more. I'm not going to talk anymore about the trade war, whatever. I don't think it's that important. I think it's part of the cycle we're in. And gold, I think it has 1 to 2 more years, and then we're going to have, in the end, massive deflation in America. Really big. A lot of deleveraging. I think the layoffs of federal workers and everything is because they live in expensive houses and they have loans, mortgages, a lot of defaults. This is gonna consumer spending, businesses are gonna dry up, credit cards are going to default, auto loans, things are going to get bad. So, anyway, hit that like button, subscribe, and remember, not financial investment advice, disclaimer below. See you next video.